Om Ganana Tva Ganapatigam Havamahe Kavim Kavinamupamashravastamam Jyeshtarajam Brahmanam Brahmanaspata Anashrinvannotibhis Sidasadanam Om Mahaganapataye Namaha. Prayer in the Hindu tradition is a very sophisticated affair. There are many subtle components to the invocation of the whole and to the establishment of one's own connection with that which is being invoked. And what is it that's being invoked? We have to be clear about. And what are the ways in which this invocation is taking place, and why these last two mantras that we have been looking at embody these differences, embody both these components. There are two components to this, and the last two mantras illustrate these two components. First, we saw the whole section which said avatvam mam, avabhaktaram, avashrotaram, avadhataram, avadhataram, avanochanam, avashishyam. That was one particular component. Coming from the standpoint, we saw the meaning. It's all about asking for protection. And then that whole section concluded by saying, please give me protection from all directions, above, below. Protect the teacher, protect the one who is curating this Upanishad by committing it to memory. Protect the one who is transmitting it, protect the one who is receiving it, and all these things. And then protect from all directions. So that illustrates a particular kind of an invocation. And then the next one, the mantra that we are on, the Tvajnanamayah, Tvanchinmayah, Tvam Anandamayah, Tvam Brahmamayah, Tvam Satchidanandadvitiyosi, Tvam Vangmayah. We saw all that. Tvajnanamayo Vijnanamayosi. This particular section is a slightly different kind of an invocation. And both these are important for the understanding of this Upanishad and for the understanding of the role of prayer in one's life in general. So the first part, where the devotee is helpless. That's why one is asking for protection, because there is utter helplessness. There is fear that, oh, I have found the teacher, but then I have to pray for the teacher because I don't want something bad to happen to this connection. And all the Shanti mantras do this. The Sahana Vavatu Shanti mantra is a case in point, the one we chant before the class, before the study. So there is this helplessness. And the helpless devotee who feels finite, who feels limited, who feels totally that I cannot do this on my own, and the one who is intelligent enough to recognize that one needs help, there is this kind of an invocation. And what is this intelligence in recognizing that one needs help? That itself takes on an interesting form. So why does one feel helpless? Because of the onslaught of karma. Everything is like this. The morning goes well, the afternoon one is in a bad mood. God only knows why. And the evening is so-so. Night one did not sleep well. Next day, morning itself bad mood as a result. So this keeps going on. There are lots of obstacles. Because there are hidden, what we say karma. Karma means here the results of karma. They are in the form of hidden variables. Variables that you don't even know are there. You can only control, we can only control the variables that are visible. Visible variables we can control, no problem. There is a leak somewhere, okay, I know what to do to stop it. One is not, the body is not feeling well, okay, you take some pills and rest. We can control the hidden variables. We cannot control the hidden variables because in between the goal that one wants and one's efforts, there are many variables that cannot be predicted at all. And when, how things go wrong, we don't know at all. And one can say, yay, I'm having a good day. And then suddenly there is a catch right here. This is what happens. You didn't know there was going to be a catch. And that's the karmic catch. Okay, this is the catch. You don't know where, how things will happen. And this is all the karmas, not just from the previous life. Previous life is nothing. Any number of lifetimes that one has had as a human being, one has accumulated endless karma. This is what is called sanchita karma. It is lying in wait. And out of that, a small portion is called prarabdha karma that one has to exhaust in this lifetime. That itself is huge. We don't know what all is going to come. So you can prepare for the known variables. Those are supposedly, we think we are there, those are in my control. But then there is many a slip between cups and lips. This is what happens. And so therefore the helplessness, therefore the desperation, because one does not like to feel out of control at all. Everybody is a control king and a control queen. You know, some of us are hidden control queens and hidden control kings. For some people it's much more overt. Nobody likes to feel out of control. And so here one is genuinely out of control, not because of anything else, but because one does not know. And this not knowing is terrible. Oh, so maybe I should know things, what all happened. That is even more terrible. If you know something bad is going to happen in 5 hours, you'll have a attack, some kind of attack. It's not at all peaceful. You keep anticipating what is going to happen, something bad. Oh no, what is it? What is it? But still you cannot prepare. And so therefore, this kind of attack of the results of karma coming in certain ways at different times, in different ways, is something that one has no sense at all, no control at all. And so that's why there is need for this helplessness to be articulated in the form of a prayer. That is exactly what is needed. And therefore, the word ava shows that helplessness. But how is that going to help? I don't know who I'm praying to, some Ganapati you said, and some cosmic force somewhere, not locally available. And here I am saying, Ava, help me, talk to me, help me from this side, help me from that side. Oh, you Lord of all the directions, help me. Here I am saying, help me, but I don't even know how is that going to help. First of all, is there somebody there who is going to help? And what does that somebody look like? Because locally, if I ask for help, then I go to somebody who is in a position to help. That's what, it's like if somebody is sick, go to the doctor. The doctor is in a position to help. So here, who is this? What are the qualifications of Ganapati? And what is her specialty? All this I don't know. And here I am crying out for help. This seems a little funny, but really speaking, we have already been introduced to Ganesha. We have been introduced to Ganapati as the Lord that is in charge of the entire creation, all the groups. And the grouping is important because I recognize myself as a part of this group, human being, full of complaints, full of sorrow, full of fear. This is who I am somehow, and I'm like everybody else. Until one recognizes this knowledge, one is filled with, fraught with fear, pain, etc. I recognize that I'm part of this group of mumukshus, jignasus, desirers of freedom from samsara, desirers of knowledge. I know this. And so that itself gives a little bit of a relief. And so this entity, this force, this cosmic force, which is the reality, the truth of everything that is being invoked, has some expertise in groups. Well, I am a part of a group, so this should be enough. This should be enough to have this invocation. But how will Ganapati help? Especially if I keep saying, we have been keeping on hearing the Hindu understanding of Ishvara is not some kind of a guy in the sky dispensing some favors. No. How does it help? That is a very good question. And the answer for that is in the same karma that we are looking at. The obstacles come because of the uh, difficult situations in one's life, which are a result of these uncomfortable difficulties, are a result of having acted against righteous living, dharma, in this or other lives. So, whenever dharma is transgressed, whenever the righteous ways are transgressed, then one incurs the fruits of that, which is in the form of uncomfortable, difficult situations to be experienced here or in another life. Doesn't matter where. So we don't have a say which life these karmas are going to come and how they are going to come also. We don't know. But they have to be what you sow, you have to reap. And this is the law of karma. So dharma again is not a mandate of Bhagavan, of Ishvara. It is a manifestation of Ishvara. So going against dharma, I go against Ishvara. This is what it is. And so it's not some kind of a punitive God that the Upanishad reveals. The Upanishad reveals a law that is sacrosanct. And in the form of this law, whatever hurts that one has done in the world, whatever laws one has transgressed, that has to be exhausted in the form of the results of karma. So we call Ishvara a karma phala data, the one who gift wraps, recycles the karmic results, gift wraps them and then drops them in this life at different points in time. So again, if one goes along with dharma, does some reaching out actions, etc., then again we have good results, comfortable results, comfortable situations to be experienced in this life. So things like coming to an ashram, being able to study all these sacred scriptures, etc., these we regard as the results of good karma, naturally, because it is not easy to get this kind of a situation where one can study without any worries, etc. And so, like this, the law of karma is such that each effect has a twofold properties. Each effect can be seen from two standpoints. One is called drishtaphala, immediate effect. So the prayer has an immediate effect because I feel out of control. I say, Avatvam mam, please take care of me, please protect me, pahi mam. Please protect me from all directions. And then there is an immediate sense of relief. Okay, I have done whatever I need to do, I have done. Nothing more I can do. I have done everything. This is called drishtaphala, immediate effect. Then there is adrishtaphala. This is for every action. There is an immediate effect. And then there is a long-term effect. The immediate effect means it is immediately available. Like after meditation, one feels very calm, immediate effect. Then the karma of prayer, like every other action, also has a long term effect. Adrishta, it's called, because it is invisible. An invisible effect that comes to fructify in time. In time, it comes to fructify, and that is the adrishtapala. And so the adrishtapala of prayer is again in the form of protecting oneself from difficult situations. And that may come later on. So the adrishta will come later. It will not be immediately available. And so that is the long-term effect. So here, when you say avatvam mam, please protect me, please take care of me, I'm desperate, I don't know where I'm going. And from the standpoint of the desperate devotee, the immediate effect is a sense of relief, and a sense of control is restored because I have taken care of all the bases. I'm okay. There is a sense of immediate relief. This is drishtaphala. Adrishta is something else. Adrishta means it is punya. Papa is also adrishta, but punya here, we are talking of the good results of prayer. Why should the prayer generate a good result? Because in the prayer, the will is truly, truly free. You don't have to pray. You don't have to say avatvam mam. You don't have to say, please protect me. One need not say that. One can plan to rob a bank if one is desperate. One can do so many things. In prayer, the will is truly free. It is not bound by the desperate pressure to fulfill desires. Usually, the will is not free. And the will is not free because there are so many desires, sometimes conflicting desires. I want to be a sannyasi, one desire. I want to get married, another desire, simultaneously appearing in the head. What to do? Difficult. And so these kinds of desires are all there. They're all there, and then the will is bound in them. And the will is a precursor to action. So first desire, which is the will, and then action. Desire makes one act, gives the pressure to act, because the desires create so much chaos in the head that one has the pressure to do something immediately to fulfill that desire. And so this is exactly how one is going about in one's life, from one desire to another, and getting slapped by the results of action because that desire is very difficult to fulfill, and then another, and then another, and then another, and somehow still people have hope. I don't know how. that I can fulfill my desires. There is still some hope. That hope never goes. And so this is how one whole life gone, another life again, the pressure of desires, and then to fulfill that desire, I am pressured to act. And then again have another desire. Soon after one desire is fulfilled or disappointed, doesn't matter, I have yet one more desire, and this is how life after life one leads. And so here, the results of karma, the difficult results of karma that one has to exhaust, is from the free will used in other lives. Here, this is very important to understand. Karma is seen as some kind of a, what is that, destiny. There is no free will. It is all preordained. People like to talk like this. because one is lazy to, to understand that there is agency, there is some will here going on, and one is afraid to take responsibility for one's action. So it is preordained. And people talk to me like this. Sometimes, there is a couple and one of them comes to the Vedanta class. And I say, why is the other one waiting outside? Why don't they come? And that the other half comes and says, my calling has not come. If the Lord wanted me to study Vedanta, wouldn't it have happened by now? And they think they are being very spiritual when they say this. Then I asked them a question. I said, okay, fair enough. This is your attitude. Fine, I accept it. Do you have the same attitude for breakfast, lunch, and dinner? ah, if I'm supposed to eat, oh Lord, let the fruit drop in my lap. If you have the same attitude, okay, then I'll think of you as a sadhu. No problem. But right now, you're not a sadhu. What are you? Don't. That's what you are. You're not a sadhu. Little pieces they hear. Yadricha labha santushtaha. The sadhu is pleased with whatever comes, doesn't pursue anything. So I'll also not pursue the knowledge. That frees me from pursuit altogether. Crazy, bad choice. There is free will. You make choices all the time. And you pursue everything else with great fervor. And you want everything else exactly how you want it. But then when it comes to opening the heart to go on a spiritual path, suddenly you put it all, oh, everything is controlled by the Lord. And if I'm meant to do, it's all predestined. It's not predestined. You are the co-creator of the universe. Panchadashi talks about this. The Aitareya Upanishad talks about this. The free will is there. There is agency. You make decisions. Even if you say, I'm not going to make any decision, that is a decision. An unfortunate decision to be apathetic. That is your decision there. And so all the karma done in previous lives that has been against dharma is coming now here in the form, the invisible effects, the adrishta. The immediate effects have already been experienced. The invisible effects, the long-term effects, which have been kept in abeyance for this life perhaps, is now coming into fruition. So you cannot blame God. You cannot say, why did you do this to me? Bhagavan will say, I didn't do anything. Your results of your karma is coming to you now. Now, this again causes a lot of confusion. Another kind of set of questions can come that, oh, if somebody robs me, is it your karma? Is it my karma? If somebody robs me, it cannot be my karma because that person came and robbed me. Well, if you ask Lord Krishna, then Lord Krishna would say, Gahana karmano gatihi. The way of karma is extremely complicated. And get away with that answer. But really speaking, there are two people's karmas here. First, the robber, the pickpocket who is robbing this person is abusing the free will, not going against dharma. Definitely, they are incurring new karma to be exhausted in the next or this life or the next life. That is for sure. Then, why did this person get robbed? Let's say there were 10 people in a compartment in the subway in New York. Why did this person alone get robbed and the other 9 did not get robbed? So there is some karmic effect. Is this good karma or bad karma to be robbed? What do you think? Bad. Well, if you look at it from the spiritual angle, it could be good karma also. Instant vairagya, instant dispassion. So many dollars gone. All right, great. less things to take care of, and maybe it is a wake up call to see what is this all about. Perhaps there is a time to change the pursuit, etc. We can take it that way as well. That's why karma is extremely complex, Lord Krishna says. So therefore, it is not one's fault. If somebody does something to you, it is not your fault. But there is a certain karmic resonance. Why this person? Why now? And that doesn't exonerate the person who did the wrongdoing, because they will also get their deserts. They will also get whatever they will also reap the results of that, whatever they have incurred. So, because we don't know what we have done in previous lives, and because we don't know the results of those, the adrishta means the invisible results of that karma. That is why we are prayerful, because in prayer we are unleashing and putting into action more adrishta. We are creating more adrishta. Very, very interesting. How am I creating adrishta? Because as I said, every action, including prayer, has both visible and invisible results, generates visible and long term results. So the long term results I'm generating because I'm using the free will freely, and it's not bound up in all kinds of desires. And I'm doing this prayer, and then the results of that prayer comes back as a protective coating against this, the previous adrishtas, the previous collected karma that can attack at any time. It's like the vaccines for the coronavirus. So you take one vaccine, 6 months of immunity, they say. We don't know, but they say that 4 to 6 months of immunity is there. Then after that, you have to go take another one. Then after that, you have to take some, what is that called? Booster. And then you have to take some other specific booster. And then you have to keep doing this. Similarly, the prayer also operates in the same way. It inoculates you from the onslaught of the previous results of action, sometimes eliminating the karma completely, or at best, or at worst, mitigating it. Either that karma gets neutralized completely, or it at best is mitigated. It is made less so that it is more tolerable, more bearable. One has the strength to bear it. So the more complicated the prayer, the more the adrishta that is generated. Very interesting. So if you do a homa means the big fire ritual. So you have to prepare one day in advance. You have to get all the things. You have to get pots of water to be consecrated. You have to get wood. You have to make a fire pit. You have to do all these things. You have to decide what kind of homa. You have to print out the mantras. You have to be ready with that. And then you have to make the prasad. You have to make the prasada. You have to make some thing that is offered. And all the things have to be at hand. You cannot say suddenly, I forgot this, and you can't leave. Once you sit down to do this, you cannot suddenly leave and go somewhere else. Everything has to be ready. You have to have a homa checklist. And then you have to tick, this is done, this is done, this is done, this is done. Oh, this one is forgotten, this is also done. Like this. And then you sit down and you keep offering the ghee onto the fire. Sometimes you also offer some puffed rice balls and all these things. And then after 2 hours, everything has to be cleaned up. So it's a whole day affair. Everything has to be cleaned up, and then one is exhausted. And then this generates a lot of adrishta. Very little drishtaphala, because drishtaphala means the visible results of homa is everybody looks tired. That is the visible result. Yeah. It's the it's the Karma Yoga Express. Okay. So there is a lot of work that has been done. The more elaborate the homa, everybody looks kind of dead by the end of the day. That is the very little visible result. Maybe there is some satisfaction. Thank God it went away, went along smoothly without any difficulty. There is some visible result, but mostly this invisible result kept in abeyance. That's why the ancient people did lot of homas, puja, elaborate puja, 16-step puja again, lot of work beforehand, and all that work creates a lot of adrishta, good karma to be kept in abeyance, to be fructified later on. Then, so that is kayikam karma, the physicalized action, rituals. Then you have vachikam karma, like the kind that we do before these satsangs. You chant the bhajans, and then there again there is definitely visible results. One feels happy, one feels joyous in the chanting. There's also a little bit, not as much as the physicalized action, physicalized rituals, but a little more, little less adrishta created, because you made the effort to open your mouth and to chant. So there is a little bit of this special kind of a result of karma phala called adrishta created. Then you take meditation, which we also do before the satsangs. The meditation, there is the greatest amount of drishta phala, the greatest amount of immediate result in the form of calm demeanor, not wanting to scream at everybody, etc. That is its blessing, but very little adrishta, because there's not much effort there. So more the effort, the more the adrishta is created. And here the adrishta becomes like a vaccine. This new adrishta, the new punya, the invisible component of the new punya, the good merits that are created, the invisible component attacks the invisible component of the previous adrishta. You attack adrishta by new adrishta. Very, very interesting and so sophisticated. Really, really amazing. And extremely fine tuned the prayer is. So when you say avatvam mam, even though it sounds like a desperate devotee's call, there is actually something very, very logical going on. I don't know what I have done, but I do know that I need all the protection. And here the protection is that invisible effects of my own karma that I am offering in the form of this prayer. May that protect me from what? Myself, really. May that protect me from wrong thinking. May that protect me from not going away from this path. So if one is serious about spiritual growth, emotional maturity, prayer definitely becomes a large part of one's life, because we don't know all the things that are lurking out there that may take us away from the path, that may challenge us in very interesting and unanticipating ways. And I don't want to go away from my commitment to spiritual growth, emotional maturity. So let that commitment not be disturbed. That is the protection that I'm asking for in this. Keep that going. Keep that punya going. Let me not run out of adrishta. That's why the seekers of freedom, every sadhaka has to have a lot of prayer in one's life. Lot of prayer in one's life. And Lord Krishna talks about 4 kinds of devotees. There is a kind of a graduation from one to the other. The first one is a 911 devotee, and only thinks of Bhagavan in times of emergency. Otherwise, who are you? I don't know. Everything is going well. The moment things don't go well, where are you? Help. This is the Artha, 911 devotee. Then there is the devotee who is, of which the living examples of whom we find in India, they proliferate in India, the deal making devotee. They go to the goddess temple and say, I'm going to offer you a sari. Why? Goddess needs saris? I'm going to offer you a sari, but there is a little condition there. What is the condition? Make me have a wonderful job. And then the sari will come. Very, very sorry. The goddess is not looking for your sari. Okay. But but the thing is, that is the feeling. That is the feeling. And the priest is also after you. The priest also says, you said you will give a sari. It's been 15 days. When are you bringing it? And so you go give a sari. And the goddess says, all right, tathastu, take your job. And this is how it is. This is the deal-making devotee. There are some very famous temples, very rich also. Tirupati temple, Balaji temple. And the Balaji devotee says, I'm starting a new business. And you know what? 50% of the profit is yours, but I'm going to call it Balaji Enterprises. You don't have to do anything. You be the sleeping partner. Yeah. You know, this one, Balaji laughs. Says, what kind of a person is this? That person who is telling me I'm the sleeping partner is himself, herself sleeping. This is what it is. And so this is the second kind of devotee. The third kind of devotee is interested in knowing that non-separation. Jignasu Bhakta. The one who says, who are you? Where are you? How come the Upanishad says you are nothing other than myself? How do I know this? This is the third kind of devotee. Finally, the one who knows I'm non-separate from you, the Jnani, that is also who is also devotee. How come the Jnani is a devotee? The Jnani becomes a devotee. The person who is enlightened to one's own nature becomes a devotee only from the standpoint of this body, mind, sense complex. It's a devotion of non-separation. And so we might laugh at the first two kinds of devotees. Oh, they are so immature. But from Lord Krishna's standpoint, he says something very interesting. He says, Udara sarva evate. They are all extremely exalted, O Arjuna, because they need not pray. They need not look upon themselves as a devotee. They need not want to discover me or even to relate to me. Even as someone, as a supplicant, even to relate to me, that requires some effort. They are all exalted. But the Jnani is myself alone. The person of self-knowledge is myself alone. So there is a gradation, there is a maturity, there is a process. And so first it is avatvam. The first iteration of this is, I am desperate, please do help me right now. Then after that, then comes the jignasu part. How to understand this Ganapati, that we will see in the evening satsang. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadagya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Thank you.